This is Mr. Jurdy, Southwest 212. It's going to be a little thing about estimating square roots. I want you to know about two different types of numbers. One are irrational numbers. The other are rational numbers. So there's a little chart here that kind of shows what's what. You may have seen these before. Probably the thing that you're most common with is integers. That's just a number that's positive or negative, and it's a whole number. An irrational number is something that cannot be written as a fraction. Its decimal looks like something that repeats on, goes on forever, but does not repeat numbers over and over again. It might have a pattern, but it does not repeat like 33333 or 35, 35, 35 on the calculator screen when you see it. So let's look at estimating a square root. So I'm going to create a number line here real quick and go over a couple examples of how I would estimate a square root. So if I was asked to estimate the square root of 10, no, let's do 12. Estimate the square root of 12. What I would do is create a number line and think about what it falls between. What is the biggest square number that comes close to 12? Well, the biggest one that comes close but not quite big enough is the square root of 9, which is 3. So I know this is going to be bigger than 3. The next square number that comes after it is the square root of 16. That is 4. I know it's somewhere in here. I want to estimate it to the first decimal place. I know it's 3 point something. Let's see if we can get close before we punch it into our calculator. So I'm going to fill in this number line with 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So if we took the square root of all of these here, these would all fall, all these square roots would fall between. Let's count how many numbers there are in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6. So the middle is right here. 3 on this side and 3 on this side. I know that 12.5, if I took the square root of that, would be 3.5, or very close to 3.5, because it's in the middle. So I would have to make a guess that's slightly less than that. So my guess, I would guess that this is 3.4. I guess in the square root of 12 is 3.4. Okay, let's take a look at another one. If you had to estimate the square root of 43, I'd create a number line. I want the square number that comes after it and right before it. I know the one that comes right after it. That's 49. Square root of 49 is 7. So I know this is smaller than 7. And the one below it is the square root of 36, which is 6. So this is 6 point something. I want to know which one it's closer to. Well, I'm not going to make a number line for all of these numbers. I'm going to do the best I can here to kind of estimate that in. It is 6 numbers below 49. And let's see how many numbers it is below this one. So 43 minus 36. 13 minus 6, that's blanking. 6. No, 7. So 7, and yeah, it's 7 numbers away. Okay, so this is 7 numbers away. So you got to go 6 numbers up, and you got to go 7 numbers down these ways. So this is slightly higher than that. So I would guess 6.5 or 6.6 would be my guess for this one, depending on how the rounding goes. Might round down to 5, it might round up to 6. Probably going to round up to 6.6, but I haven't checked. That's how you'd estimate. It's going to ask you in the book a question like this, or online when you're working today. Let's see if I can pull that up so you know what it looks like. It's going to ask you, estimate the square root to the nearest integer and tenth. So the integer is easy. You can estimate it to the nearest integer by just seeing what it is. So this one is the square root of 46. Well, we know the square root of 49 is 7. So I can estimate it to the nearest integer. I would say the nearest integer is nearest integer would be 7. It's closest to 7. It's very close to 7. But then if I was going to say to the nearest tenth, I don't want you to just type this in instantly into your calculator and check it. I want you to try to figure it out. Try to do 6.6 times 6.6. Try that on your calculator. Try 6.7 times 6.7. Try 6.8 times 6.8. When do you finally get bigger than 46? Then punch it in your calculator. Same with this one. It's a hard one. Try testing a couple numbers before you just hit the square root key. See if you can estimate well there. On these ones down below, like divide 4 into 27 and see what you get. And then try to do that, okay? On this one here, just punch it into your calculator and see what you get. And then you'll be able to tell which one's bigger. The last one I want to show you here is this square. If you're going to find the diagonal distance of a square, you can simply use the Pythagorean theorem, what you learned. This diagonal line is a hypotenuse. So you can square the sides and figure it out. Have a good day, guys.